उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता जी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय। श्री गुरुदेव की जय। Word to word synonyms, translations and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. Hope you are doing well. And you would like to start with realization and others can join in. Hare Krishna.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you very much to His Grace Pundamanga Mataji and His Grace Krishna Samartha Krishna Prabhu for, for, uh, for giving us so much time and attention which we don't deserve. I'll start with the realization for this verse, and I also try to talk about the last week's verse, which I have actually missed the session. And I find this a very, very important verse, and it has actually challenged my technical understanding about the scriptures, because it's part of Sangha philosophy. So, which, if Amrishwa allows, I'll ask you some questions, which I'm sure you must have told us, but I have forgotten, or I don't remember them correctly. But I'll talk to you after I share my realization. Sarva yoneshu kaunteya murtayah sambhavanti yaha तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनि अहं बीजप्रदः पिता सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनि अहं बीजप्रदः पिता. Translation. Purport, Srimad Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sarva Yonishu, in all spaces of life, Kaunteya, O son of Kunti, Murtaya forms, Sambhavanti, they appear, Yah, which, Tasam, of all of them, Brahma, the Supreme, Mahat Yonihi, source of birth in the material substance, Aham, I, Bija Pradah, the seed-giving Pita, father. In all species of life, O son of Kunti, forms, they appear, which all of them the supreme source of birth in the material substance, I, the seed-giving father. Translation. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly explained the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the original father of all living entities. The living entities are combinations of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living entities are seen not only on this planet, but on every planet, even on the highest, where Brahma is situated. Everywhere there are living entities. Within the earth, there are living entities, even within the water and within the fire. All these appearances are due to the mother material nature and Krishna's seed-giving process. The purport is that the material world is impregnated with living entities. who come out in various forms at the time of creation according to their past deeds. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, this is a very famous verse which Prabhupada has been quoting many times. And before I start sharing derivation, I would like to read the previous verse also, if you all allow me. Mama yonirmahad brahma tasmin garbham tadhamyaham sambhavah sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharat. So Krishna is becoming very technical here, as we understand, and he's trying to make us understand. I don't think make us understand, he's giving the information. For us to be able to understand, probably we need guidance. We need more, probably we have to study more. Yeah. But these are very, big information, very shuttle, in a very short form. So this verse 14.4, probably I like to read all the translation only so that I can bring into the bring in my point of view, how I understand from this and how it is actually inspiring me. The conversation started where Arjuna is being told by Krishna, the super personality of Godhead said, again I said, declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of the creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Number 3, which I just read, the total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharat. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So Krishna is talking about creation of this material world. And yes, in the previous verse, he talks about that how insects are born in a storage of rice, no? And we think that they come out of the rice, which is not true. And similarly, very nice example. Actually, I've seen this in village in my young age. That's exactly what Prabhupada is talking about. When you have a large storage of this rice, my granddad's place. Now, this verse is actually Krishna is becoming more technical, and further I've read further also, and is giving more information which we need to digest and we need to understand. And as we all understand, this is basically Sankhya philosophy. The creation is being discussed, and material nature and the relationship between spiritual nature and material nature, which fortunately we also discussed in our Sunday class, in the matter, in the antimatter and the matter. A lot of discussion on this point, where Prabhupada also talks about in the verse, in the purport also the same point, spiritual nature and material nature. So what I understand from this verse, that Krishna is talking about creation at different stages, how the material world is created, how constitutionally the further creation happening, because creations are happening at Karudaksha Vishnu level, at Shivodaksha Vishnu level, and even before that Garbhodaksha Vishnu level also. And this Bij Pratha Pita is the same sequence, which is actually how living entities are coming in existence. And this information, I got it from Bhagavatam, and I was trying to figure out that because Bhagavatam elaborates on all those things, and then Prabhupada very nicely elaborates even much more so that we can actually digest this information and be our our surrender to Krishna increases, our surrender to a disciplic succession increases. Because that's what it is. It's not the knowledge or information, it's how actually it impacts our consciousness. So in the Canto 3, chapter 26, where the creation is being discussed by uh, Kapil Muni while talking to his mother or replying to many questions. So I'll not, it's a very nice chapter which I've read many times, but I don't think I've understood. Because there's so much technical information in those verses. And here, Kapil Muni is talking about the creation at Karodakshai level, and then again at the the Shirodakshai level also, which I probably need to clarify if I'm not wrong, if I'm wrong. And so, and what Prabhupada writes about this is very contextual and very technical also. The verse I would refer here is etani asamahyaty yada mahad adini saptavai kala karma gunopeto jagat adir upavisat. Sorry. Translation. When all these elements were unmixed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin of creation, along with time, work, and the qualities of the modes of material nature, entered into the universe with the total material energy in 7 divisions. And Prabhupada writes here, after stating the generation of the causes, Kapil Dev speaks about the generation of the effects. At that time, when the causes were unmixed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his feature of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, entered within each universe. Accompanying him were all the 7 primary elements, the 5 material elements, the total energy, Mahat Tattva, and the false ego. So this is where the creation is taking place, which Bhagavatam talks about, and it is also mentioned in Brahma Samhita, which Prabhupada mentions also. But this is where creation is happening, where material, all those earth, water, fire, ether are coming into existence. And that's also coming to life after Shirodaksha Vishnu, sorry, if you corrected, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, enter into that creation. Before that is all dead matter. The same thing Krishna is talking about Aham Bij Paraspita. And if we further, this is creation of, I talked about that what is come out of this, when everything came to life, you know. And then after this, all those senses are being developed in the same context with a lot of information coming, who is the presiding deity and all those things. And then that also comes into life because of this uh, Supreme Personality of Godhead, which I would also like to refer. Very nice verses. And Prabhupada very nicely mentioned all those things so that we understand. And after that, Amrish Prabhu, if you allow me, I'll ask you that question, which I've been trying to meditate, but I could not find the answer. And it's up to you how you want to answer, Prabhu. Because I have not given any background, so I don't know. The verse I'm referring is the concluding of this chapter, with the name of the chapter is Fundamental Principle of Material Nature. And again, after the next chapter is also about the material nature. There's a lot of information. And if Prabhu is the catalyst to inspire me to read these verses. And Maharaj also talks about these chapters, particularly these chapters. A lot of technical information. For people like us who are actually into preaching business, they must know all these things. That's what I have been told long ago. The verse is Chittena Hridayam Chaityaha Kshetrajnaha Pravisadyada Virat Tadaiva Purushaha Salilad Udatisthatha. Translation. However, when the inner controller, the deity presiding over consciousness, entered the heart with reason, at that very moment, the cosmic being arose from the causal waters. That's where the entire universe came into existence. The Virat Purus came into existence. There's a lot of information, presiding date, and all those things. And there is no purport into this. And I remember Amrish Prabhu explained these verses even without purport. I don't know whether Amrish Prabhu remembers this or not, but he will explain so nicely. And these are very, I don't know, old. The next verse is also very important. I'm just referring. I have read and then I come to that question. Uh, the next verse is Yatha Prasuptam Purusham Pranendriya Manodyaha Prabhavanti Vinayena Nothapayutam Ojasa. Translation. When a man is sleeping, all his material assets, namely the vital energy, the senses for recording knowledge, the senses for working, the mind and intelligence, cannot arouse him. He can be aroused only when the super soul helps him. So this is other side of we have studied a lot of information about super soul in the previous verse, but this is the role of super soul which is studied. And the purport, few lines of purport. The explanation of Sankhya philosophy is described here in detail in the sense that Virat Purusha, or the universal form, the supreme personality of Godhead, is the origin source of all the various sense organs and their presiding deities. The relationship between the Virat Purusha and the presiding deities or the living entities is so intricate that simply by exercising the sense organs which are related to their presiding deities, the Virat Purusha cannot be aroused. It is not possible to arouse Virat Purusha or to link with the supreme absolute supreme personality of Godhead by material activities. Only by devotional service and detachment can one perform the process of linking with the absolute. That's so nicely. And that's how things start working. That's how things start coming to play. So the verse here is Aham Bij Pradah Pita. And this Pradah Pita is probably I have not understood it. So that, and probably I missed it in Bhagavatam or in my reading, Prabhu. And uh, it, it talks about creation of material universes. It talks about Virat Purusha, and it talks about further creation and all those, then Brahma and all those creation, everything come into existence, all the living entities. But how come Krishna becomes Bij Pradah Pita? I mean to say that how does that living entities, and I probably I'll read one more verse, Prabhu, if you allow me, and that gives some indication about the information. I've got broad idea, but probably I'm trying to become more technical here, and that may be annoying. So the other verse were very nicely Prabhupada writes in the purport, and also the verse I'll read. ततस्तेनानुविधेभ्यो युक्तभ्यो अंडनम अचेतनम उत्थितं पुरुषो यस्मात् उदातिष्ठत् असौ विराट. Translation. It is in continuation with the previous verse. So I've referred those creation of all those gross elements and then Virat Purusha. They're very sequential, everything happening here. And then Aham Bij Pradah Pita. And then we all come into existence, no? All living entities. And they're living entities everywhere. So how that Krishna is doing this, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And in this purport, Prabhupada writes an example, which may be the answer, but I am not able to relate to that answer. Purport. In sex life, the combination of matter from parents, which involves emulsification and secretion, creates the situation whereby a soul is received within matter. And the combination of matter gradually develops into a complete body. The same principle exists in the universal creation. The ingredients are present, but only when the Lord enters into the material elements is matter actually agitated. That is the cause of creation. We can see this in our ordinary experience. And Prabhupada very nice lights here. Although we may have clay, water, and fire, the elements take the shape of brick only when we labor or combine them. Without the living energy, there is no possibility that matter can take shape. Similarly, this material world does not develop unless agitated by Supreme Lord as Virat Purusha. Yasmat Udishtat Aso Virat. By his agitation, space was created, and the universal form of the Lord also manifests therein. So, Prabhu, my link is missing Aham Bij Pradapita. We all come into existence because of Krishna. And it's probably, is it living entities or is it a super soul? I'm just little bit confused, Prabhu. So if you have time and if devotees allow, you can please give me some idea, Prabhu. Thank you very much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So thank you for your question, your realization. So could you ask the question again, please?
Sorry, Prabhu. So why I'm referred this Bhagavatam verses, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is Aham Bij Pradapita. Okay. That it should be understood that all species of life ocean of Kunti are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the same giving forth. I am talking about myself, Prabhu. Okay. And when I read Bhagavatam, the verses I referred, it talks about universal form and it talks about creation of Mahat Tattva, that how it came into existence and all those things. But how Krishna is actually Bij Pradapita for us, for individual living entities like us. That link I'm missing, Prabhu. I must have forgotten it.
So what you're asking is this, that material world, he enters the Paramatma. That's okay. That much you understand.
Yes,
I'm
Prabhu.
trying to understand the question. Okay. So
Yes, Prabhu.
okay. But you are asking that how he is the seed being father for us as soul. Is it what you're asking me?
Yes, Prabhu. Because why I can further elaborate onto this, Prabhu. So when we actually already exist in that, and we are suffering from our actions, no, and we are getting body as per what, and it is a process in which Krishna is not inward, his energies are inward. But when he is Aham Bij Pradapita, so how that come to means how that's happening, Prabhu? Maybe very stupid question. I don't know.
Okay. Let me understand this question again properly as the next step. So what you're asking is that the living beings are suffering their past and present karma for their actions.
Yes, Prabhu.
So how did they come into existence in the first place of living beings?
Yes. At the time of creation, how we are, when Krishna is giving us this body, when we're starting, and then we start suffering and
Yeah,
enjoying,
yeah,
then
yeah.
everything
Okay,
follows after this. Yes.
okay. So at the end of the kalpa and another Mahakalpa. Kalpa means at the end of one night and one day of Brahma. It's called kalpa. And Mahakalpa is when Brahma dies and when all the universe enters into the body of Mahavishnu. Okay, it's a cyclical process. I was just writing this point just few days ago to another devotee who had asked me a very similar question. So our material science and Christianity talks about lineage, a line. There's a starting point, there's an ending point. Whereas the Vedic knowledge, the Vedic civilization is cyclical. There's no ending. So at the time of the Mahakalpa, when Brahma dies, the universe goes into the body of Mahavishnu. All the living beings who have yet not gone back to Godhead also enters into the body of Mahavishnu. And they lie dormant in it. So that's why when the time comes after a long period of time, when again the material creation has to take place and Brahma is born. Before that, again, all living beings, according to the past karma, comes into life by Mahavishnu. And they start their actions again. So it is not that they are born at this stage. They are already born long ago. This will raise some more questions. But you understand this point?
Yes, Prabhu. This much I understand, Prabhu. What you just told me, I understood, Prabhu. Yeah.
So then the question is what?
So Aham Bij Pradapita. So how is seed giving father to us? Because we are also eternal, Prabhu, no? Living entities
Yeah,
are eternal. Krishna eternal, we are also eternal.
yeah, because we are separated part and parcel of Krishna. And again, in chapter 8, verse 20, we will discuss this in detail, where it is mentioned that 2022, that living beings are eternal, non-exist, they are never born, eternal, ever existing. They are never slain when the body is slain. That question, that point, where people say that, but when living being is never born, then how can you talk about when they are born? But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Mame Vamsha Jiva Loke. So we living beings are his Amsha. We are his part. Like what we discussed on the Sunday class. But I just spoke briefly to this point, the knowledge that material world, material elements are separated parts of Krishna, but we are his personal part. So we are him in technical terms. As a spirit soul, we are also Krishna, and he creates us, he separates us at some point in time. Now, when does he separate us? That information is not given anywhere. And Srila Prabhupada writes this that information, when is the separation taken place, that is not known, and that you will never know. You understand
Prabhuji,
this much?
no, because this is not my question, Prabhu. I think you have
Okay.
told us this also before.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm trying to figure out that how Krishna is Aham Bij Pradapita
He's a seed
and
giving father. We are his part and
seed giving
parcel, he
father.
says. He says
Yes.
this. So what the question is? He says, I'm the seed giving father.
Yes.
Mama
So,
Vamsa Jiva Loke, again Bhagavad Gita he says, I'm the seed giving father. My separate, my part and parcel. All living beings are my part and parcel. So the question is,
see, I'm just probably trying to think the way Prabhupada writes about that, how this living entities like us come into existence, no, in this material world. And that's probably, I was trying to figure out that if there is some, like I refer two verses here, where creation of Mahatattva happens and then Virat Purusha happen, and after the creation continues. Then Brahma is coming and then
yeah, but
creation happens.
the living being is born before that.
Living with eternal. So Brahma, we know Brahma, how Brahma is created or Brahma takes birth, or that we know. But
Yeah,
about us,
the living being is also separated before him, not now. He is not separated after this stage. He is separated before that. This you understand this point?
yes, Prabhu.
So this but the point that is you're asking that probably is a little confusing for you is this that Mahatattva and Virat Purusha, all this, if you understand this point that this happens not after it is after the living being is created, but it is much later on. In so many cycles, we must have born and died, born and not liberated. So we are again the body of Karma Karana Dakshaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu. So when from the body of Mahavishnu we are born again, the living creation takes place. That's when the Virat Purusha, Mahatattva, and all those things will happen again. So even that is cyclical process. But the living being are created much before that, and they're trapped in the material world.
Sorry, Prabhu, after discussing with you, when the realization has come, probably you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. As I said,
The
there will be more questions as this point comes. Because this is a very, it's a question only which will get more questions. That's why I told you for the first when I answered the question. So please ask.
yes. So as you said that we all go after the annihilation of this material world, not annihilation. We go
We
and
go to the body. Yeah,
yeah, annihilation. Yeah, we go into the body of Mahavishnu.
yeah,
And because Krishna is in this chapter is talking about material creation, material nature, and how these are actually interacting. This is what is, and then we're coming more into mode side.
yeah,
So the creation, aham bij pratapita means we are We are coming out of the pores of Mahavishnu. That's how he's our father. Is that correct understanding, Prabhu?
Yeah. From the body pore of Mahavishnu, we don't come out. The universes come out. Okay? And with the universes, we also come out. So we are lying dormant. But at the point of the creation begins, first created being is Brahma. And that's when he meditates. We know the story of how Brahma meditates. What am I supposed to do? So you are supposed to create. So he creates creation based upon the blueprint created by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, as you read in the first one, your points. That from Mahavishnu body inside, then it's only lump of matter. But the blueprint of creation, the blueprint of what universes will be, where they will be, how it will be, these are all done by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And Garbhodakshaya Vishnu enters into all this creation with on a blueprint through Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. And from the body of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu comes Brahma. And Brahma's only business is to populate the whole universe according to the plan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Now, population is done through living beings. So that is when all these living beings are born from the body pore of Mahavishnu, which are come throughout with universes. आप समझ रहे मेरी बात? You understand this point? This point?
Yes, it makes sense, bro. It makes sense, yes.
Yeah. So living beings are created much before. हम लोग तो कितने साइकिल हमने कितने ब्रह्मा मर गए, हम लोग पहुंचे नहीं यहाँ से बाहर, गए नहीं मटेरियल वर्ल्ड से. So unlimited Brahmas, kalpas we have died, which is small only, 430,000 times 10, times 30 is 1 month, but times 10 is 1 kalpa. कितने मरे और कितने ब्रह्मा मर गए? 11 trillion years, and we are not yet gone back to Godhead. Because we are created much before that, and we are going up and down in different cycles, in different upper planetary system, lower planetary system. But we are back in, as long as we are not liberated, we are back in the body of Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu's time is there after a very long time. When time creation takes place, things become agitated, and then universal takes place. But again, Mahavishnu जो है, उसके body से आता है, but he's got nothing to do with us. ठीक है ना? Because again, he expands his nothing to do with us. Again, it becomes as sure salvation. ठीक है? This question is answered. This is okay
Yes,
now.
bro. Yeah, yes. I got some idea. Yeah, I'll keep meditating, bro.
Yeah, think about these points. These are, and then if you remember last verse, I said that this is a very basic point Prabhupada has mentioned. Okay, because Bhagavad Gita, it's not deep enough. It's not there. What we're discussing is also not deep. This is still very basic. There's much more deeper subject matter on this. As we dwell deeply, there are more questions, and all questions are answered. Okay. But basically, your main question was that the living beings, Krishna says, I'm the seed giving father. When does it take place? It's not at this point in time. Although many in our Sampradaya believe it is at this point in time, in the body of Mahavishnu. Prabhupada's understanding is not this. This is again a very technical point, but to keep it simplified, Prabhupada's understanding is what we discussed now. That living being is born much before that, not now, at this point in time. यहाँ पर तो हम निकले ही नहीं यहाँ से. जो लोग बचे हुए हैं, who have not been liberated, they are being born again and again and again and again, cyclically. ठीक है प्रभु? You can think about this.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. And if you require further point, then we can talk privately also, because there is more deeper understanding and explanation upon this. But what that can be discussed when questions come, not without questions coming, because it will be difficult to understand and answer. No?
Yes,
That's why I
yes,
said,
yes.
Abhitna someday, then I was putting the benchmarks. This is what you understood, that's what you understood, and this is the answer there. Then if you have more, then we create another benchmark. Okay, so much you understand this much, so another question, And these are many people, because of this, they think that this creation is the ultimate creation. ठीक है? इससे ज्यादा और कोई है ही नहीं. because there is unlimited information there. And Krishna, by the mercy of Paramatma, reveals it in our heart with the explanations of Acharyas like Srila Prabhupada giving it. And Prabhupada gives references of many other Acharyas also. But for us, he is authority because his interpretation we understand. Okay, I'd like to just conclude one point that even our Acharyas differ, even our Acharyas differ in many, many points of Krishna Bhakti and the creation and all this. That is the reason why it is very important to select your Acharya. I'm not talking about Guru, that is irrelevant. I'm talking about the Acharya on whose basis we understand the philosophy. And this is the reason why Prabhupada writes in that letter which we quote that even if you find that there is no Acharya present living, you start from the other Acharya whose teachings you want to continue. ये हम लोग, because we don't have deeper knowledge, I'm talking about general mass of devotees, we do not understand the deeper meaning of what Prabhupada writes. It's only when we sit about, read Prabhupada books and meditate upon this, then you realize, okay, I'm choosing this Acharya. Otherwise, even amongst our Acharyas, there are differences. And I'm talking about vast differences of understanding Bhakti. So it's not one lineage to say all Acharyas talk the same thing. Yes, they do, but there are differences a bit. Okay? I would like to just say this much point.
Prabhu, sorry to disturb you. You have given me a lot to think.
Yes,
So
yes.
all those acharyas, because Krishna is unlimited, Krishna's knowledge is unlimited, everything unlimited. So we choose our acharya. If, for example, you choose Prabhupada here, and you rightly said a lot of information, not only Bhagavatam, even Prabhupada very elaborately lights in the other Chaitanya Charitamrita also, but the same thing, very different. But what I'm coming to is that different acharya have a different opinion, but are they not all correct in their own way? And then we pick and choose which makes sense to us, and then we follow them.
Yeah, see, this question you're asking, because this question, before that, I gave you some information, correct? About Acharyas being different. Yeah. Now, that is information I gave without you asking me the question. So, once you ask that question, when you have got thought about this deeper knowledge, then you'll understand this question is not necessarily relevant. The Acharyas have got the same conclusion. Yes and no. Okay?
I agree with you, Prabhu. I agree with you what you're saying. Yes, I
अगर
agree.
आपने अगर आपने महीने इस पे सोचा महीनों या दिन whatever or some hours or whatever it is, if you think about it deeply and you move fast and say okay, right, then you ask me a question and then I give you the answer, you understand it very better. Yeah, I understand. That is why we say okay, I understand all this, but I follow Prabhupada in the mode of Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. Okay, and these are our sampradaya. I'm talking about Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Vaishnava sampradaya. I'm not talking about other sampradayas also. ठीक है ना प्रभु जी? So I think for now, your question is answered on this. And you think
Thank you,
deeply
Prabhu.
about this. I gave you a bit more information. So why I give this much information, additional info, which is again very confusing. I gave it to you now because these questions will be raised in your preaching program sooner or later. So you require to have this thought process in you. मैं हमेशा करता हूँ इस तरह से आप लोगों को. So that you are not stuck in an answer. But when it comes to that, and if you're not able to pursue a clear answer, then you ask me, I'll give you the more information. But you're required to ask me questions for this. Okay, na? So we can give you more. So you're prepared for it. Then what happens is that your benchmarks are already done before that. Something very about that. So then we start with the next level. Then the next level.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
And why we don't ask question, Prabhu, that you know that.
No, that whatever is the reason, but unless you know the benchmarks, we cannot go to the next level. That's what I'm trying to say. Nothing else.
Yes, if you are not ready to understand, then no point giving answer, Prabhu. If you're not
Varna, it will give you more question and you conclude to some answer like you said all are correct, no? So answer is yes and no. You know? But why is it no? Why is it yes? Again, there is requires information for.
I have also come across this.
Yes, but why is this yes also and why is it no also? That also has got its own branches of understanding. Yeah. So it is very dynamic. It's very good. It's very thought provoking, And every stage is
Thank you,
very
Prabhu.
deep.
Thank you very much.
ठीक है ना? चल, हरे कृष्ण. How much time we've got?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got some time for this. Yeah, others can hear. Yeah. Thank you. Shri Gurudev ki jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amresh Bhagavad, Hare Krishna Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samathan Krishna Bhagavad for training us and giving us opportunity to study these verses and share our realizations. Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Mritayaha Sambhavantiyaha Tasam Brahma Mahadyoni Aham Bija Pradapita. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. So, as Avinash Prabhu has actually already gave us a context. He also read the translation for previous verses. So this is a discussion, so the continuation from the previous verse. And thank you, Avinash Prabhu, for asking those nice questions and your elaborate realization as well on this verse. So it's a very famous verse, and actually Srila Prabhupada always, many times he has referred to this verse in his lectures. So I remember this verse from the long time now, and it's a very important verse, also from the preaching point of view, because people do ask these questions. So what I realized reading through the purport here, Srila Prabhupada is stating that the Krishna is the original father of all the living entities. And the living entities are the combination of material nature and spiritual nature. So yes, they are the combination. So we have been discussing this from the last chapter. So all the technical information is given by Krishna as a Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So actually our material body uh, is actually is coming from the material nature, and the soul is the part and parcel of Krishna. So we so far we understood that clearly. So here Krishna is declaring in this verse, very boldly that he is actually seed-giving father. Aham bija pradapita. So again, actually, as it is said in the seed verse that aham sarvasya prabhu. So the everything emanates from the supreme person. So as he also stated that mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. So we just had that discussion. We are the part and parcel. So again, it's the same information is kind of concluded in this verse as well. And I was thinking that actually what to be understood. So again, it actually highlight this point that actually Krishna is the supreme person, because even there are actually millions of other devatas, but no one has actually claimed that actually he is actually the supreme person and he is the actually father of all the living entities. So Krishna is boldly declaring it here. So I was also actually remembering this point where Srila Prabhupada actually he was actually giving the lecture where he referred to the Christianity. He gave the example that actually in the Christianity as well, the who are actually following that path, they normally actually go to the church and they pray. That normally they pray. That they pray to the God, and they always ask for the actually the bride. So they're asking actually material things from the Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada actually he always emphasize this point that actually we should not approach Krishna just for the bread and butter, because Krishna is the ultimate father of everyone. And he has actually created all these planets, and every planet, as we studied in Shishopnishad, they are actually complete in itself. So all the arrangements are made, and everything that the living entity need is actually been provided, free of cost on all these actually material planets. And we see that actually, practically on this planet, Earth as well, where we live. that everything is there for our survival. So I was actually try to understand this point that actually, as we say that actually every propensity that we have is actually has its origin in Krishna. So we also become a father, actually at some stage that once you have children, then you try to understand that there is a natural propensity, that we protect our children. We try to make all the arrangements that actually children need. So we try to take care of them. And also we make sure that actually they follow the right path. So we try to actually, give them a proper sanskaras and all that. So this propensity is also coming from actually Krishna. So as he's confirming, he's the seed-giving father. So as a father, as he has made all the arrangements for our survival, and as per our actually the kind of action we perform, as per our karma, he's also rewarding us, and also whenever we actually acting in an improper way, vikarmas. So as a chest of is a rod of chastisement, we are being punished in this material world as well. So I understood this point, that actually the Krishna is proclaiming here that he is actually seed-giving father, but he's also, actually looking after all the living entities, just like the propensity that we also experience in this material world. So that one point actually, I try to actually I understood in this way. I may be incorrect. The second point actually, I think this is from the chapter 7, where actually Krishna as a Paramatma, where in that purport actually Srila Prabhupada writes that Krishna as a Paramatma teacher, was sitting in everyone's heart. So as he's the father, he's always guiding us all the time. Even we are actually not interested in his advice sometime. So we actually turning our back towards Krishna. Still, he never leaves us alone. He's always with us in all the actually life forms. So Krishna is a real friend, as we discussed that in a past as well. Amrish Prabhuji gave a nice lecture on this point as a Krishna is the eternal friend. So he's always with us. So we understand this actually kind of a fatherly figure who's always guiding us. And he always wants all of us to actually come back to him. So it's up to us, whether we actually turn to him and we follow his instruction. And if we do so, as we surrender, as he says that, he reveals accordingly. So as we actually surrender, when we have actually proper complete surrender, when we actually following his instruction, the instruction of his representative as a guru, then we have the opportunity to go back to him. So yes, so these are the points. And another point I was thinking that yes, we know that actually now Krishna is the father. So we may be very proud that actually we are the children of the supreme person, his Amsh. So actually, I remember this discussion where Amrish Prabhu said that yes, Krishna is actually father, but actually when we try to become Krishna conscious, we should not actually serve Krishna from the point of view of he is a father, because when we serve him as a father, then naturally we have actually expectation from the father and the material expectations. So I think the discussion, I remember that actually we should love Krishna, not as a father, but as a servant, as a friend, as a lover, as or even as a father or mother of actually Krishna. So there are the five rasas. So I was thinking on that point because even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu insisted that we should not worship Krishna as a father. So actually having a mood of servant is better than actually accepting him as a father. So yes, just meditating on those points and actually, how that actually makes sense for me. That actually, what is the takeaway from this verse? And thank you, Avinash Prabhu, for asking those nice questions. So we got a lot of new information as well, a lot to think. So yes, thank you, devotees, for the opportunity to share my realization. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we conclude today. All others who have not been able to give your realization, you must please, if you want to, our principle, you can prepare and give your realization before next week, for our own development and for the betterment of all others in the team also, because everybody benefits from each other's realizations. So we conclude today's discussion then. Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you very
Bol.
much for your Thank you very much for your wonderful realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, devotees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.